It's Alyssa. I am supposed to do a response today to the video that Rochelle made about like feminism and people's expectations and what kind of makeup that you feel like you have to wear and that sort of thing. And I actually ended up laughing all through the video she made because I know the people that she's talking about, and I know how reactive she is to stuff, and so I'm sure her reactions to things are really funny. I'm actually filming with a different camera today, so we'll see how that goes. It looks like I'm looking towards, at least I guess to you guys it'll probably be the right because it'll be opposite. But when I look this way, it looks weird. So sorry if I look like I'm like, anywho, my whole thing about the makeup and the feminism and all of that, I have kind of a different take than Rochelle. Growing up, I was definitely not like what you would call, well, sometimes I don't feel like I am now, but I mean, we all struggle with self-esteem issues. As a kid and up into, gosh, even as recent as like a year or two ago, I was always told in my family that I was like the talented one. Because at the time I could play a couple of different musical instruments and I sang and I did some things. And so while being talented was like nice, and it's nice to be thought of in that sort of way, it also in some ways was a little bit degrading because it was like, it's okay that you're not that pretty because you're talented. And then my sister kind of had the opposite feeling about it. My sister was very, very pretty, and she was always told that she was pretty and that she was like the attractive one out of the two of us, including by my own parents. And so she sort of grew up thinking that maybe they didn't value that she was talented or that she was smart, that all she had going for her was looks. And so it's funny how it can work. It can really work both ways for people. And so the interesting thing about it is, so my whole life was compared to my sister and told that I wasn't like as attractive as she is. And so being 5 years older, that really sucked because it was like no matter what I did to my hair or my skin or, you know, how I dressed or anything, I was always like kind of the nerdy or awkward talented one as opposed to my sister who was like the hot one. And I never was nominated. This isn't like a bitter, like, oh, high school was terrible. Because I actually had a positive high school experience for the most part, but it wasn't because of like looks or popularity or anything like that. But my sister was homecoming queen, and she was like princess of all these dances and stuff. And, you know, she had boyfriends really early, whereas I didn't have my first boyfriend until I was like 19 or almost 20. So, yeah. And, you know, I got these messages ingrained in me that I wasn't attractive and that no matter what, like, I did to myself, that I was always going to be, like, average or homely or, you know, or whatever it was. And my sister is very, she's a lot darker than I am. She's dark complected and has dark brown eyes and has, you know, not anymore, but she used to have really long hair. And you know, so all through like childhood and into adulthood, I thought that that's what you had to be attractive, was that you had to be dark skinned and you had to have brown eyes and long dark hair. And almost not, I don't want to say look like ethnic, but definitely not be like, you know, pasty white like I am. And then it got even worse because the first couple of people that I dated, every single one of them, well, I've only dated 4 people seriously, I think, and one, you know, just kind of casually. But I was cheated on by every single person that I dated. And I'm pretty sure the very last person I dated cheated on me. I could never confirm that, but everything sort of seemed, it would make perfect sense if that's how it went down. And, you know, the person I'm married to, knock on wood, is the only person that hasn't cheated on me. And almost all of them were dark-skinned, dark-eyed girls with long hair. And I'm short. I'm only 5 feet tall. And it's funny that Rochelle talked about weight in her last video because she used to get asked all the time when she worked at the Dollar Tree if she was pregnant, which I think is horrible. I don't think you should ask someone if they're pregnant unless you're like in the delivery room and you see that baby coming out and you know for sure. I just don't think, or unless someone mentions it first, it's just not a good idea. And see, me it's kind of the opposite. I was always like really, really skinny. You know, I look back on some of the pictures I have on Facebook from several years ago, and I never struggled with like an eating disorder or anything. I was just very small. And my dad was like that in high school too, like just very short and very skinny. And it's only, I don't know what Webster's like hacking up over here. Hey, you're okay. Come here. Come on. It's okay. I think he needs attention. You know, it was only in just like the last couple of years that I got to what is medically considered like a healthy weight for me. I mean, and I'll just go ahead and say it. I'm 5 feet tall and I average like about 107 pounds, which for my height is healthy. And I'm not saying that to be like, oh, I'm under 110 pounds, because it's not like that. There are days where I think my butt's too big. I think my thighs are too big. I don't always like the way that I look in skinny jeans, because I feel like I look like this and then down. And so, you know, finding pants is like a nightmare because I have long legs, but I'm short. And so they're always either too big or they're too tight, and it's just horrifying. I mean, and, you know, a lot of my friends in high school and even into college had like boyfriend, like Rochelle had a way longer and boyfriend, you know, more boyfriends before I ever even had one. And had boys like have crushes on her and stuff. And I never really had, at least if they did, I don't know about it. I was more the person that got rejected. And they were like, you're so funny and you're fun to be around, but they don't want to date people like that. And then I can remember when I was in probably 7th grade, this guy that was 2 years older than me, you know, I had kind of a little crush on him. And so one of my friends called him. I don't know how she knew him, but she called him and told him that. And he was like, oh, is that ugly little girl that hangs out with this person? I'm not going to say their name. And I can remember I was eavesdropping while she was calling him to see if he even knew who I was. And when he said that, like, I was just devastated. And even now, like, I'm 30, and I still think about him calling me the ugly little girl. And I'm just like, ugh. You know, and I have a really hard time with self-esteem. And so, you know, things like that, I don't know that you ever completely get over them. I think maybe as you get older, you start to feel more confident and comfortable in yourself, just because you get to a point where you're like, screw it, I don't care. But I'm not quite to that point yet. I can see myself headed in that direction, but I'm definitely not there yet. You know, I still think that girls, in order to be pretty, should look like Rachel Bilson. And there's definitely still things, like I wish my nose was shaped differently. I wish my body was shaped differently. And, you know, there's still things like that everybody struggles with. And the thing that kills me now, and it's one thing that, like, it's kind of funny because I feel like sometimes our videos are very, like, ghetto, and they're not, obviously not high quality. And part of me is torn because part of me, like, wants to make them higher quality. And then there's a part of me that thinks about that, like, if that girl that I was, and I don't want to appear like Rochelle and I think we're hot stuff and make anyone feel that way. I've noticed there's a huge trend in blogging and vlogging on YouTube, both, where everything is like very manufactured. And I'm not meaning to criticize. Hey, Webster, stop. Come here. Come. Sorry, he's going to spin and knock something over. Come here. Excuse me for a minute. Why are you misbehaving? Anyway, you know, even if you look on some of the fashion blogs, the girls all have the same purse that they've been given, the same outfit. They all have just about the same hairstyle and kind of like makeup look and things. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but I feel like the things that I want to watch are the things that I feel like are more organic and more real. I like to watch people while their videos and I still like to watch some of the people on here whose videos are like very stylized. And I particularly enjoy that if they're doing like a craft tutorial or a holiday tutorial. Like Mac Barbie is a good, or Mac Barbie 07 is a good example of that. I love her videos she does about like room tours and fashion, because I almost feel like with hers aren't like other people's, and it seems like she does it like to go all out for whatever her theme is. That I appreciate. But I've noticed like a lot of the beauty vloggers, and this isn't jealousy about them having like all these subscribers or sponsorships or anything, because I don't want it to come across that way. But in a way it makes me sad, because it's like, can you really trust a product review that somebody's giving You know, has it really helped their skin, or has it really helped their hair, or has it really done whatever when they're getting paid to get you excited about that product? You know what I mean? And I think that they dress very similarly. They all buy like the same outfits from J. Crew. It's all the same bloggers and vloggers. And I don't mean for this to sound like, you know, bitter or anything like that. That's not how I feel at all. Like, I still watch those and enjoy them. But I think it sometimes sends the wrong messages to people, that you have to be a certain way, or you have to buy certain products or do certain things in order to like be more glamorous or live these glamorous lives, or be pretty. And that's just not true. And I think that I just think it's sad that it all has to be exactly the same. I kind of tend to like quirkier bloggers and vloggers, or people with personalities that seem like, even if they do that, personalities that seem like kind and genuine. And I've also noticed, like, speaking of YouTube and stuff, and I'll wrap up with this so this video is not too long, that there's like a huge, I'm trying to think of how to word it exactly. I've noticed like a huge increase in people leaving mean comments on other people's vlogs and blogs and stuff, saying that, oh, her other boyfriend was hotter, or, you know, she looked better before she did her hair like that, or she's ugly, or she's fat, or, you know, and just like really mean stuff. And I've noticed a lot of it are teenagers saying it, particularly on Instagram. And I'm not saying like that's all it. There's also people that are in their 40s that are saying it, people that are my age, people that are older saying it, or people that are telling vloggers and bloggers who are in their 40s or older that they shouldn't be doing this anymore, that they're too old. That's ridiculous. There's a market for everybody, and there's a place for everybody with that sort of thing. So it makes me mad when they say stuff like that. And I think that that's why, in particular, the people that said the mean comments to Rochelle, it was really rude, because it's like, who says that you can't wear bright lipstick, or who says that you can't be a certain weight? I feel like unless a doctor tells you that your weight is dangerous or unhealthy, then you shouldn't feel like you have to be something just because everyone else tells you that you have to be. And it really, that kind of stuff just makes me so angry. It's like, you can't, if you're too thin, they don't like it. If you're too fat, they don't like it. If you're in between, they don't like it. You just can't win for losing. And, you know, it's kind of how Rochelle felt. Like, I happened to see the lace dress that she had on. I was with her when she bought it. And, it, you know, she had on, like, I'm pretty sure opaque black tights. And it's just, like, really, like, you can't even wear a covered up outfit without somebody having to say something. It's just stupid. But anyway, I say do what you want to do, act how you want to act, be who you want to be. If you want to have a bunch of eyebrow rings and wear goth makeup, that's cool with me. If you want to tattoo Ronald McDonald on your face, I don't care. Do what you want to do. As long as you're not hurting anybody and you're happy, I say go for it. But let me know your thoughts about makeup and the whole beauty universe and everything in the comments below, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.